1075, The Game Podcasting, is sponsored by Modern Exterminating, a family-oriented company. Professional, honest, and dependable pest control solutions. We're your one-stop shop for all pests.
There are certain games in the history of South Carolina football that everybody has a collective shared experience with that I wasn't here for, but everybody talks about to some degree. You have like the 84 game against Navy. Everybody talks about the 84 game against Navy and the implications that had on what South Carolina's season could have been. The 2015 Citadel game is another one of those where if you just say the Citadel game, everybody knows exactly what you're talking about. And unfortunately, like the Navy game, is a shared experience in an even worse way because that was kind of the definition of where the program was at that point in time, unfortunately, after the fallout of Spurrier and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that was the end. It was a chilly day at Williams-Brice Stadium. The Gamecocks were cruising to a 3-9 season. There's a lot of people to look back on that Citadel game. And I'll just say this. If you want to correlate, and I didn't think about this until I brought it up, until we just started talking about it. Now, I don't think Shane Beamer is in that much stage. I would, on a scale of 1 to 10, I would have it at like a 6. Slightly above a 5, but we're not in the danger zone. You go to 7,
yeah,
that's where the red light starts blinking a little bit,
sure,
and you start getting a little bit of an alarm. I don't think he's there yet, but I also don't think when you're above a 5, you necessarily feel like last year he was at a 2.
Yeah, no, nobody is comfortable going into this game to any degree. Now, yes, again, his seat's not scorching hot by any means, but this goes sideways enough, and you lose to Clemson as well, then there's nothing off the table.
Get them all on the headset, during the drive and say, hey, 16, hey, go grab such and such, and let's get these guys together. Go rally these guys up. Look at the iPad. Hey, well, this is what we need to do, or this is our adjustment. Let's get these guys going, and then we huddle that thing up before we take that field. Everybody's in agreement that we're going out and going to work, and let's just execute and stay a little bit more fine-tuned on the details. And so we got to build that during the week. I think Coach Elliott and Coach Blackwell do a phenomenal job of that. We all know Coach Elliott a lot longer than Coach Blackwell, and his energy and his leadership is a bigger role now too. He's taken on a different ownership with the tight ends and O-line, and now us kind of being separated, me being upstairs and him at the downstairs, him being able to collect all those guys. But we still need to build those leaders, right, that can get those guys together and are comfortable saying, hey, let's go to work. Let's clean this up. Hey, did you see that? Let's fix that. Hey, we're this close. Let's get this next drive. Hey, let's go get one score right here and put the game away. That's all part of growth. And I do see that, and I felt it, and I've seen more of it this week in practice, and I think that's definitely heading in the right direction.
I'll ask again. What do you make of those comments?
I think it's kind of in line with what we kind of thought he was doing as the offensive coordinator, and Beamer said as much last week when it became official that he was going to be doing the play calling. Like, hey, it's still a collaborative effort. You're still obviously focusing on development, still working with the wide receivers a lot. So wasn't really surprised by anything I heard there necessarily, because it kind of sounds like what we expected his role to be in this interim. Beamer can't risk staying in-house 2 times in a row. And look, the Shula thing made sense a year ago, right? You had good production out of Dow Loggins in the last half of the year. He seemed to have unlocked Lenore Sellers at his best. He moves on to become a head coach, which I don't think any of us saw coming when it happened. It's like, okay, well, we want to keep the ball rolling. How about we just roll with the guy that's already been here, that we had credited for Sellers getting to the point where he was at a season ago. Experience, resume looks good. All right, let's do it. Didn't work out, obviously. I just don't think if you're Coach Beamer, you can make that risk 2 years in a row with a guy that, and Furry's been around and coached a lot of football, but has not coached at the highest level. He's never been a head coach in the SEC before compared to someone like Shula. I don't think you can take that risk if you're Beamer, your job's on the line next year.
Well, the thing about Mike Shula that I was fine with and okay with is that we had – the bowl game was what it was, and I kind of went, oh boy. But we interviewed Lenore Sellers at SEC Media Day, and he really kind of assured me that he had that relationship with Mike Shula that made it an easy transition.
Yeah.
That made him comfortable, made him happy. He didn't have to learn anything. And that was probably the day that I was like, okay, I'm fine with this hire. The bowl game was what it was. You had a month and you didn't have Rocket Sanders. But if your quarterback seems very content and almost happy with maybe we should go back and I guess it would be just beating a dead horse at this point. But I was going to say, go back and play that interview because in it you listen and you hear Lenore Sellers almost not giddy, but happy that was the decision.
And I'm sure Beamer has talked about this to some degree going back to when Shula was made the permanent OC. I'm sure the opinion of Lenore Sellers mattered a lot then.